Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. This is supposed to be what, number 4?
It was supposed, yeah. This is the third one. But
Yes, it's number 4.
four. No,
We've done.
we did four in all. You won't see the first one. Probably won't see the light of day because it wasn't the best.
Yes.
So
indeed.
technically, this is the fourth, but officially this is the third.
Right. All right. So today is World Mental Health Day.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll be speaking on the topic. We'll be sharing a lot of personal insight and how we feel about it, as much as because that is something that has been overlooked for a lot, and especially in the Black community. That
We bash
mental
Black
health.
people.
Yes.
That's one thing we try not to do, but
Exactly.
indeed, it is. I think mental health.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I think mental health in the Black community is seen. It's like probably like a stigma.
Yeah.
A stigma
Yeah.
is attached to mental health.
Yeah.
Like Black people don't be depressed and
Yeah.
This like the
Because like when people hear mental health, no, crazy people. At
you suffer from depression.
Yeah, like what?
Depression?
I don't need to see anybody, and that there is serious because a lot of things go on, and people believe that white people or people of other races are the only people that should be going through those things. Black people, and really and truly, Black people have been going through a lot.
Yeah.
And because of the stigma, they just choose to just bottle things up inside and make things worse.
Yeah.
And these things affect a lot of areas of our life, work, how you interact with people, your work, craziness.
I wonder if there's a correlation between individuals who have cancer and mental illness, and if there is a correlation between, since most black people or Black individuals bottle up their feelings, I wonder if they are more prone to having cancer as opposed to people of the other races who would express themselves.
That's good. If you guys know and you can help us, like I said, just leave the comments below and just let us know. Right? All right, great. So just a quick definition of what the WHO says, that mental health is described as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential and to cope with the normal stress of life, and to work productively and contributing to society. So basically, what mental health looks like is feeling in control, being confident, being resilient, feeling good about yourself, managing and expressing your emotions, and as well as building good relationships, basically. So that's what WHO states mental health as.
So I would have written down some things that would affect, not written down, typo. Some things that would affect our mental health. I'll link the article I got this information from. No plagiarism, you know. So some things that would affect mental health is trauma, setback, low self-esteem, which can be linked to your self-image. It can be self-degradation, you're beating up on yourself, physical abuse, verbal abuse, etc. So these are the simple basic things that would affect us an individual's mental health.
I mean there are many more, but these are the most common things you'd find
affecting.
Exactly. Right? So another big question is if you've been suffering from any mental illness. Now before I even get into that, what people should understand, there's a difference between mental illness and mental health. Now, it's a case whereby mental illness is when you're actually suffering from whatever it is, whether it be your anxiety is off, or you're schizophrenic, or you have phobias and things along that. Those are the illnesses. Mental health is the umbrella term used, basically, right? Where you can either be mentally ill, or mentally healthy. basically. Right? So don't like when persons talk about mental health or people hear it, most times you'd find that they when they hear the word, they already gone to something wrong with this
Crazy.
person. Yes.
This
You
man
know?
off his rockers.
Yeah.
He's off his rockers, bro.
and that is sad. All right, so I'll get into it. So this is me speaking personally from the point of if I've ever suffered from any mental illness or struggles with any. So yes, I have to some extent. So once again, you'll hear me from time to time based on the topics. Hear me speak about 2015, which I would have explained in previous podcasts. I'd say that was the darkest time of my life.
Oh, okay.
As it relates to a lot of things, but it was really dark. I'll try not to get into it.
Dark. It was
a
period.
trialing period.
Yeah.
We have never been in that situation before because our parents prior to that really tried their best to shelter us from what life really was. And I'd say we both can say we thank God for that happening.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd say 2015 really shaped us. Anyhow, getting into 2015, it's a case whereby what happened is I didn't know how to cope with it. Say it was depression.
Okay.
From what I've and I don't have a definition of what is depression, but I'll just explain what it was for me. So coming from a point where from 2009, I think that's when I first actually started getting my own money, and that came from work study. It was small, but it was my own money. And then thereafter I went to TI, and I did little odd jobs here and there, going to the canteen and getting a percentage for going there and so on and so forth. And so when 2015 hit, I was laid off, and for like the first 2 weeks I was like, I'm a bounce back, you know. It's nothing. But I didn't know what to do. I started going to GITC. I was doing electrical installation because I wanted to upgrade myself, because I was doing mechanical. I did mechanical/electrical engineering at GTI, and I was like, you know, this electrical installation would help boost my qualifications.
Okay.
So me going there, and I couldn't even focus. Like, I was just going there for going there. Say, I know what I wanted to do, and I couldn't. And after a while, I just dropped out. I was at home. I didn't really want to talk. Not cutting my hair, you know. It was bad. Like, I would just get up.
That's the thought of it.
Yeah, I would just get up. And there was nothing to do. Who am I to talk to? I've never been, open to the whole, you may be suffering from depression, because the thing is, you being a black person and you telling somebody else, hey, I'm depressed. Hey, I couldn't go and tell my mother, I couldn't go and tell my father I am depressed, because the most natural thing is, there's the devil, just pray about it and you're gonna find. I'm not saying that prayer won't help, but a lot of times people need professional help, and there's a reason why God would have created all of these different jobs out there. So the church alone and you praying alone will not help you.
I disagree with this even. I think it's prayer, reading the Bible would help, but sometimes it does help. I believe it does help, but not all the time.
No, what I'm saying, in terms of to a certain degree, is like, alright, so I can pray, I'll fast, and I just pray and fast. I have no other real guidance. There's nobody that can link what is happening spiritually to what is happening physically. And in the case is where you need the balance. And this is why I was saying, in terms of having professional help, there's somebody speaking to you. So now, as I pray and so on, what the person could be saying to me, I can link it to what I'm praying. So now I can identify
Okay.
what exactly I'm praying for, and what exactly I'm fasting for. So this was saying. So I'm saying that. So to counter what you were saying, or to respond to what you were saying, that I'm not saying that if you pray or if you fast, it won't help at all. I'm just saying that with the extra help, it'll help you to identify the right areas, I'd say, to prayer to fast about, because that person you will say, well, look, well, these are the things that
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
that are plaguing you, and if you work on this, and then you can go on your knees or whatever and say, well, God, this is what is being brought to light. Please now help me with XYZ. Lord, I'm fasting now on because of this. These are my goals. I mean, that is like I said, that is my opinion on how exactly I'd be able to go for it to make it better.
So how did you? The question now is how
did they get over it? Well, one, for those of you who know me, it first started with rugby. So I was still practicing just to get my mind off of it, But that was just like a quick fix. So what I tried to do was to train as long as possible, so that my mind won't go anywhere else other than training, right? And then from there,
sorry to cut you. I think that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people focus on the external, on external things in order to fix their mental. Like they might resort to drinking. I know some people who resort to partying, but they party for 2 hours, 5 hours, but then after they would have partied and enjoyed themselves, they're back to the reality. When you focus on external thing, like for example rugby, I'm not saying that rugby didn't help, but I'm just giving an example. Like rugby, anything that is external and you're not dealing with what's going on inside, if you're focusing on these external factors to make it better, it will always be short-lived, because you can't be playing rugby 24/7 or 12 hours a day or whatever it is, or while you're awake you keep playing rugby. All of these things will end. So to me, you have to really focus on what's going on internally. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way?
What I can say to that is I do believe a lot of times it's not that the person isn't willing to do more. The thing is, they don't know how to do more than what they're doing, because like we were saying, how it started, it was just rugby helping, right? The help really happened when we started to go to church, and that was when exactly we started church. When we started going.
We went through that when we started church. When we started church is when.
Yeah, I know, but remember the girl since early in the year, right? So since January. It was the 26th of January.
Okay. Don't forget the day then. We started to church in April or May.
April? Yeah. Because remember, I was working for the 1 month, exactly 1 month, from the 1st of June to the 1st of July, and I get laid off again.
Yeah, I think we started
We started going to
we
church.
started go to church around April.
Yeah, so no, it was after.
When we started going, because remember mommy was going to prophetic class. But anyway, that's a topic.
Yeah,
don't matter.
Yeah. Anyhow, so roughly, like I said, so January I started the course. Late January, rugby was going on. So like we said, around March, April. Between March to May, this is when we started going to church. So now at church, well, our church in particular is, I'd say, a very intimate church where they break things down and it feels like you really have a connection.
Yeah. They make sure that they have an interpersonal relationship with you. It's not a small church, but it's not such a large church that the pastor can speak to every individual. And the thing is, you would actually call out the members, and that's a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you
that's
don't
a
have
very
to
good
be, like popular. It's not like a popularity contest.
No.
Well, okay, you've been coming to this church so long, so I'll keep calling you or I'll keep calling you family. Anyhow, I digress. So we started going to church, and our apostle, he's a wise man. So it's a case whereby I haven't been able to open up about a lot of things, but going to that church and so on, and he and I met, I think it was a weekend, and we were speaking, and he really helped me break a lot of things down, because one,
Okay.
I wasn't able, prior to that, speaking my mind was not a thing because of our house, so how we were brought up, right?
Speaking in mind, indeed.
Yeah.
It
So
wasn't encouraged. Speaking, and this, sorry to cut you, and in our house, not bashing our mother or father, we love them. I'm glad that I'm grateful for the way they raised us up, but there are pros and cons to the way they raised us up. In our household, we weren't taught to speak up or speak our minds, and it caused us to internalize most of what we were feeling.
exactly.
And you might get back on if you want to talk back.
or legendary talks. Wow, but like I said, because of that, if something is bothering you, you know that if you speak about it, because for me, I do believe, and I was paying attention to it. That wasn't the case with them. They didn't really know how to speak their thought. My mother was always
That's
a
true.
loner, so
That's
whatever
true,
it
that's
is, she would shoulder the burden and just keep moving, and that
that's-
has made her a strong woman.
Yeah, and
However-
I believe mommy passed it on to me,
Yeah,
where we can. I think that's why we're silent, or we just take hits and don't speak about it. It's and that's the other thing. I know if I expose him, I'm gonna say this, but our parents never used to really show affection in terms of, or express their affection through words. You know,
yeah. It was just more of action. Like
I
they're
provide
doing
for you.
this, yes.
They show love by doing
Yeah.
things for you.
Acts of
Instead
service,
of
basically.
instead of letting you know that hey, I love you, or we used to get the hugs, we occasional hugs.
Yeah,
We started
kisses.
it and then it stopped.
Yeah,
But
and then the kiss, like you just kiss daddy, and
dude, that was when we were small.
yeah. But then as grows, like now, it's a case whereby like our father all the time, like yo, I love you, I love you.
It was weird at first, but now we got used to it. So.
Exactly. But mommy, we're still working on it, right? I told her I love you the other day. I should. I love you. it was weird. Anyhow, getting back on it. So like I said, for me, church really helped me, or should I say, my apostle, along with the church, really helped me to overcome a lot of. Helped me to mature mentally. So
You say you were mentally mature. What does it mean to
it
be
was
mentally
okay,
mature?
so it was a case whereby in terms of like if I'm going through things, right, is I would really try not to keep it to myself, or if there's an issue, not just pat it down, alright, we can deal with it later, or we can't really deal with it now, because in doing things like that, it is make matters worse, because when it happen again, and what I found is that when you left things, or you don't deal with things as they come, and you keep patting it down, the same thing keep occurring over and over.
Same with anger. I used to read a lot of articles. Well, you don't know by watching this podcast, by like reading, like talk about reading. This is going to be. I'm going to be consistent with that. I'll keep telling y'all guys, read. Yeah, I might be Kenneth. I fed up here talking about reading, but I like reading. I'm passionate about reading. So yeah, listen to me, okay? Yeah, listen to me. So I was reading this article, and the lady was talking about anger. It's just a side note, and she said that if somebody does something to you and it upsets you, and you keep like, alright, I ain't supposed to pop off, I ain't supposed to talk about it, and you keep doing that, it's like a pressure pot, and it'll reach to the point where it'll just explode, and explode for things that you shouldn't be exploding about. So I think same with mental health. or anything that is affecting you mentally, you should deal with it as it comes and not let it pile up. Maybe not all the time, but after 2-3 times, it's like, no, I gotta deal with this because it's bothering me.
Exactly.
A lot of people, what you find is a lot of people who are wealthy. Well, let me not talk on that. I know of some people who are wealthy. They would seek out mental. They would go to therapists to talk about their issues or problems that they're having at home. Just to keep the mind right. Because remember, especially if you're wealthy and you're dealing with a bunch of people, both positive and negative, you need to express how you feel about what this co-worker did. You didn't like it. Because if you keep applying tension, you will break. You might get a mental breakdown. You might look in haggard. So I understand where you're coming from with dealing with things as soon as it comes.
Also, what I would have used back then, like I said, for me, church really helped. I'm not saying that you can go to other areas because everybody's not like us. We're not expecting everybody to take the same route. But this is our opinion, and for me, that then worked. But over time, I realized that church or me going to my apostle will only work on certain things because now I'm interested in other things and I'm doing other things. So it's like church is where I'm rooted, right? And then these other areas, they help me water my roots, so to speak. So if I understand from all these other areas, well, okay, well then I can go back to my roots, which is church or to God, and to help me to grow and be a better person. Also, when you see note in terms of a lot of people, their only therapist is the wife or the husband, the girlfriend or boyfriend, their friends, and that is therapy.
And such a side, not such a side note. What am I saying? A side note. You guys, Kevin, Kempton, you two guys are my therapist, you could say.
Yeah.
I vent to them and vice versa. They would vent. Not so much Kempton. Kempton don't really talk about the feelings like that. I don't know. He don't really talk about feelings.
Yeah, you don't know unless
and
it's
this
too
okay,
much.
we don't discriminate, but he will listen. Kevin more so would listen. So Kevin is like the anchor among the three of us. Thank God for you, thank God for him. I love the guy, you know. Anyway, but Kevin is the person, and Kevin and Kempton are the person that I would usually go to if I'm frustrated, if something's bothering me. So aside from them, I don't really have people that I would go to, but maybe Kevin, you have different people. Maybe Kempton has his friends who he would open up to. But yeah, indeed, people, we don't go to actual therapists, and I think that's a Guyanese culture. Individuals don't go to paid therapists. I don't even, although I see in the papers there are therapists, I don't know where they are located. I don't even know. I have no idea where I can find a therapist in there. Maybe Georgetown Hospital.
If it's a case that you guys know, you can really help us.
Yeah,
because
put it in the comments if you know.
I'm sure there are a lot of we're not saying that we want pay, you know. But what we're saying is a case where, but if you know someone or persons or places that we can go, or anyone can go to and to get help when it comes to mental health, please put it below in the comments, please, because there are a lot of people out there that really need help, and they don't feel comfortable talking to you or talking to me or talking to the friends or the family, and they're suffering in silence. But there is someone out there they wouldn't mind opening up and can save lives.
Yeah,
suicide is
but
crazy.
I think suicide calm down. Now let's go a bit on the spiritual side. I'm about to get a little spiritual. If y'all don't care about the spiritual side, the spiritual realm, y'all could just fast for a little bit. But I believe there's a spiritual side well, we believe there's a spiritual side to these things. So there are demons that are tormenting people, and people need deliverance. God needs to deliver people because they're being tormented in their sleep. They're being tormented awake, and they need deliverance from God. You just praying won't help. Sometimes you don't have that power to overcome any demons, you don't have any power to overcome demonic oppression and attacks. So you need to go to a pastor, a Bible believing church. Don't go to the Obi man. I don't advocate for the Obi man. If you go to the Obi man, just so you know, the man gonna put a stronger demon for calm down your demons, and then the big demon would put on you and your family, because we giving y'all some knowledge now. When you go to an Obi man, the Obi man will give when he attaches a demon to you, he'll attach not only to you but to your family line. But I digress. Yes, they are sometimes you can't just go to the therapist and talk about how you're feeling. You need to go to a pastor and deal with your problems. Go to a church that does deliverance. I won't call certain churches because I don't want to get blasted, but go to a church that does deliverance, that casts out demons, that actually casts out demons. No, demonic possession is real. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So we've talked a mouthful. So the next thing.
Oh wait, baby, I don't think. Oh, I think I know I've never. You asked if we've ever dealt with mental illness. I think every person has dealt with some sort of mental illness. I think every person has dealt with some form of depression. There's mild depression, or when you what's the opposite of mild? The other extreme, but full-blown depression.
Antonyms are crazy right
some
now.
Some people were full-blown depressed, and I was mildly depressed in my final year of pharmacy, but I was telling Kevin,
UG people, we know.
Every day of my final year, all I just wanted to do is go and watch a movie at Gibson Mall. This is legit. I was falling asleep in class. I was like, I didn't care about work. I thought about schoolwork, and I truly believe that I wasn't gonna make it at the end of Fuji, because I ain't even making no joke. I'm a fairly good student, and to say that, it means a lot, because as I grow, I fed up community. I just, this is too much. Plus, it's like these lecturers didn't care. They didn't care if you were in your final year, and they might take it a little easy on you. It's like it was worse in final year. So I was mildly depressed, and the way I sought to deal with it was going to the movies, just talking to people, not just about my problems or what I'm going through. But everybody would. I know among my class, everybody were feeling the same way. We would just talk about, hey, man, you feel like doing this, superficial stuff, but we were still expressing ourselves. But I craved conversation, and I craved going to the movies. So that's how I sought out to deal with it. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure if I prayed about it as much. I'm not sure if I read the Bible as much about it. But guess what? This is just another side note. I don't think we got it to the notes. But persons who are suffering from mental illness, or if they are depressed, they would tend to fall back into certain habits that are not positive. So, and I know for myself, I fell back into certain habits just because I was depressed, or not feeling, was mildly depressed. Let me not call depression on myself, but I wasn't in the best mental state, and I fell back into certain habits that were not positive, and certain things that I vowed to never do again, I just did them just because they're, remember when you're depressed, is no, your inhibitions are lowered, right? So, and that's, it can cause relapse in certain areas. So if an individual is suffering from drug abuse, or if they're, or alcoholics, when they are depressed, that can be a trigger for them to go back to alcoholism, or they can go back to abusing drugs, go back into having sex, there's a nymphomania, go back to masturbation, go back to smoking weed, doing all the negative things that they shouldn't be doing, or that is not good for them physically. It's not good for them, and it just becomes a cycle. They do it, they feel bad about it, now they're depressed and they're going to do it. It's a cycle.
I could say though, what I've realized also is, because of the coronavirus, a lot of people actually, from what I've seen, whether it be on the internet and so on, that mental illnesses has been on the rise, because it's a case whereby persons have a certain cycle that they follow. Okay, from Monday to Thursday we put our best in. Friday morning probably from 8 to 10, and then the weekend starts, right? They're able to off all the stress that's happening during the week. They're able to off.
And that's true. It's true.
Now with Corona,
you're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere, and a lot of people have got toxic households. Toxic. A lot of things going on that they could have gotten away from prior to this pandemic. So now they've got to get up. They go to work, or they go whatever, or for a lot of people who've been laid off and they can't do their job. Now they're at home, and if they've got a spouse or they've got a certain little children running around the place, now it's like, oh no, how am I going to get out of this? And you see that it has escalated quite a lot. When you look, you see everybody, oh gosh, I can't wait to take a vacation. Oh gosh, I can't wait to do this.
And I was gonna say, back to what I was saying earlier, that if you focus on external things to deal with your mental health, what gonna happen when that is no longer there? What gonna happen if, for example, if people resort to partying as a way of escape, what gonna happen when you can't party no more?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think I sometimes I wonder how people who are lonely cope with being lonely. Like, really, I'm always curious as to how exactly, when you're upset or depressed, how do you deal with that? And I think the Bible says that a man who isolates himself seeks his own desire and rages against wise counsel. In other words, somebody who's just in the car and they don't want to talk to nobody, don't want to express themselves to anybody, they would fall into negative habits. They would end up in a depressed mode or a depressed state, and sometimes they just don't want to take help from anybody because they want to keep to themselves, So what was the point I was trying to make?
That came off from when we were talking about how lonely,
focusing on external things, but not just that, but if you're alone, also if you need somebody, you're not an island. Don't isolate yourself, because when you isolate yourself, you become negative. Nothing is wrong with isolating yourself, giving yourself to your time to think. I like to stay to myself, but at the end of the day, I still go back into the world of living and talk to other people. Sherlock Holmes, he used to isolate himself. Although a fictional character, he resorted to drugs until Watson came, and she was the person he could express himself to, and he wasn't. I said she coming.
Yeah,
I think in
Watson,
elementary.
Yeah, because it was a
but
case.
Watson came into
the gender role is changed throughout
in elementary.
Yeah,
but when Watson came, he was able to bounce off his thoughts on Watson. Not at first, but over time. So yeah, don't isolate yourself. Do how to deal with mental health. You can't focus on external things. You can do external things to help alleviate how you're feeling right now, but you still have to continuously working on yourself within. So you're going to talk about something?
Yeah, I was going to talk about actually a final point, which is really big, which is why the church has not played a role in helping people with mental health. That is big.
I mean, we've never been to every church. That's a disclaimer, so we can't.
Yeah.
But I've heard that a lot of churches was numb to people's cries about they're not feeling well mentally, or they're not doing okay. I believe that the church.
Sorry about that.
I believe the church is not as equipped to deal with mental health. And just being real, you can pray for individuals, you can talk to individuals, yeah, but there's no therapist in there. I remember they get this merchandising place, this Christian merchandising place named Jesus and Therapy, because they believe in, yes, you have Jesus, but you should seek out therapy if you're having problems. Why you think you get marriage counselors and stuff?
Exactly.
Right? So just like how you need counselors for marriage, sometimes, yeah, you have marriage counselors who are in the church, but sometimes you go to a therapist or a counselor outside of the church. Same with mental health. You would need to go outside, because sometimes your pastor didn't do a degree or get a master's in psychology. You understand? Or they're not a psychiatrist. Yeah, they're getting their information from God, and they're getting their advice from God, and they can edify you, but at the same time you would still need to go to a therapist. And I was asking in church a time if they believe in taking medication for mental health. They're like, no, they don't believe in that. I was like, why? If we can say we're taking medication for physical illnesses, such as if you have an infection
or a headache or something,
why not take, if you have hormonal imbalance, why would I not take drugs, a drug to balance back or make you go back to homeostasis mentally? Sorry guys, so I had a call or something. But anyway, I think I got out. Anyway, yeah, so I was saying that when I asked the individuals at church, like, yeah, I believe in taking drugs to go back to a state of homeostasis, they're like, no, they don't believe in it, you should pray about it. And I was like, and here's what I believe: everybody has a right to have their own opinion, and if they believe indeed that prayer is the way to deal with mental illness, if they see their child is suffering from some mental illness and they believe prayer is the way, well, power to you. But I believe that there is prayer, but at the same time you take whatever medication to deal with it. Just like how you would take if you have a physical illness, you would have to take medication. Same way you would have to take tablets for mental illness. And personally, I won't take tablets, right? Because I ain't about to take no tablets and be crazy. But I'm not saying that I do, but it's possible. And no, I won't. I won't. And I remember people saying that when they take these tablets, certain tablets for mental illness, they feel dull. Like the world is dull. And because these tablets are, most of the time, if you have schizophrenia or if you have epilepsy, it's like your neural firing, right? So when you take whatever drug you take, it's to slow down the firing of these nerves. So obviously the world would appear dull. Right? So I personally won't take any drug. If I really believe that I shouldn't, Kanye West probably needs to take drugs, but
but indeed like just to expound on what Kenneth said, in terms of the church, I do believe that the church isn't as equipped.
Not our church.
Yeah.
But in a way,
in
every
some
church,
way or the other, there is every church lacks something.
Yeah.
But for the churches that I know and the persons that I know, that attend other churches, and not even churches alone, there are other religious sects that that they have issues with connecting the mind and the body, which surprisingly in things like Hinduism and Buddhism, they
practice yoga.
They practice yoga and these things to align yourself. Do your research on yoga, and we won't get into that. That's something, but do your research on yoga, and you'll see why it is. Yoga is a bit.
But we don't in Christian. Let me just be clear. Christianity sees yoga as demonic, so that's why we don't practice it. Meditation, well, meditation in the sense that if you just clear your mind and just let anything flow, we believe that's demonic. You can meditate, but meditate on the Word of God. Meditate means to think on something or focus on something. So the Bible does speak about meditation, but what are you meditating on? Meditate on the Word of God if you want to grow as a Christian. But that's just a side note.
Yeah. So it's a case whereby a lot of times you find that when it comes to anything, from the moment they hear mental, let's just say mental means crazy, and crazy equals demon
It's
equals
possible.
prayer.
Yeah.
And there's where it is, because I can remember a friend of a friend was saying that she suffered from epilepsy, and the people in her church told her she was possessed. So, because she was in church one time. I mean, we were laughing at it, but it's serious, right? But it was funny how she puts it over, because she was saying that she was in church and she got an epileptic attack, and she said they came the blood. And she said it's still happening right now, and after a while it's obscene, you know, be like, yes, all work together. And she said, but she's still epileptic.
And I guess people get an idea of casting out demons because in the Bible Jesus cast out a demon from an epileptic child. I think he was epileptic when he used to jump in fire.
Oh.
But there is such a thing as the physical. I believe there's still a demon attached to it, but you still have to deal with the physical aspect. Just like how you fight against the demon of cancer or fight against the demon of diabetes, you still have to don't eat a bunch of sugar and exercise. You understand? So
by the way, today was his first day out at exercising.
Yes,
it was
intense. It was intense. But I'm working on. I have to be conscious of the fact that I'm getting a little belly, and I had to ask myself a couple of hard questions, and I didn't like the answer. Meaning I didn't like the fact that I had to go and exercise. But if I want to get to the place that I want to be, I have to make these sacrifices. So that's a sign.
Yeah. So that is all that we have.
We talk about
well, that's all that I have.
Okay. I just
But I think probably
just
Kenneth has a bit more.
Just before we finish off, so let me ask you a question. I think we spoke about it a bit earlier, but just to get it concrete, just to give a solid answer. How do you deal with depression or any? How would you deal? How would
mental health? Any mental illness?
In this case, depression. When you're depressed, how do you deal with being depressed or being anxious? How is that with you? Not anxious. Whatever illness you deal with.
From my personal point of view, I see it that you need more than one outlet. Meaning that in terms of the persons who I choose to speak with, and having positive persons around you, because a lot of times the persons that you go in and vent or so to speak, they're just as negative or even worse. Huh? Yeah, like to express itself to someone who you know is in a place that they can reciprocate what's going on. Like, okay, well, they would have been in a place, or they would have dealt with it in this way, and they can even help you, because it's a case whereby, all right, we will reach to a therapist at some point in time, right? Sometimes you can't always schedule a time, or you can't afford right then to go. So having outlets is very important, because I believe in, one, like I said, having someone that you can talk to, right? Two, which is something more physical, meaning like how I say you get like for me right now, like if I'm in a place that I really can't focus or do anything, and I feel it's too much on me, I just go to Giftland. I go to Giftland, and I literally just plug up my ears and I read. And after that period, I come out better. I need that time alone to just distance myself, so that because it would be like I'd be at home, right? And home is it's a comfortable place, but at the same time, there are things sometimes, like you gotta listen to the noise, or there are other people within that space. Not saying there ain't nobody at Giftland, but it's a case whereby, for me, Giftland is a large place, right? So if I'm sitting there in a spot, and there's a particular spot that I go, people be passing, right? But they don't really be in my space.
This man be eating ramen and reading a book in Giftland.
Raw ramen. I love, yes, the security guard had to
hot
come.
ramen. I talking about before it's boiled.
Raw ramen. But that I mean that is just me, right? Because like I said, that is how I was able to like come with a clear mind. Because a lot of times when you're going through things get so tense that you can't even think. You're choking. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I need to escape. And that is what I would go to. I'd go. I would read, eat my ramens. I would listen to some Michael Todd or something, and then there's this other thing that I listen to, Social Proof. You guys should really check it out. I'll put the link in the description. And I just relax, and I come back home, and I'm able to communicate well and so on, because that is something that I found that was making things a bit difficult for me in terms of socializing, because when I'm in that space, I tend to pull away. And then you've got to remember, there are people around you, and believe it or not, a lot of people around you are really looking at you for guidance, or looking at you as hope. You might see yourself as just an individual, but always just keep it in the back of your head, there's somebody looking at you for something. So I always try to keep that at the back of my head, so I know, well, okay, I can't be myself if I don't do things for me. So when I go and I get those things done, and I come back a new person, I'm able to be myself, and then somebody comes, hey Kev, I looking at how you getting through this. Chances are, more likely, they mightn't see all them rough patches you go through. They just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in you, or you're the light at the end of the tunnel for them, right? But at the same time, you still gotta focus on yourself. So you taking an hour, even a day to yourself, or if you feel 3 days is really, which for me, I think this is a bit too long, because especially if you've got a lot of things you've got to do, and people rely on you to get things done, 3 days is way too long. But for me, I just take like an afternoon or something, and I try now to make it normal. So every Saturday or every weekend, I try to get stuff done at Giftland. I gotta get my ramens later on, and go and prepare for the new week.
So for me, how I deal with when I'm mildly depressed, I don't really view myself as being depressed. I ain't even like use the word, it's on your right. when I'm not in the best mental state, let me just say that. Or when I'm upset, I would pray. I would read the Bible. I mean, I ain't even making this up. I don't pray as much, but I do pray. I do read the Bible. What else I do? I would speak up especially if I'm upset and I believe that before I bottle up how I'm feeling and just let it make me anxious or whatever, I would just speak up in a moment, or when there's a neutral ground. I would also disconnect from the world, like how Kevin goes to Giftland. I would just go for a walk myself. I would probably go to the seawall and just look out. And I don't even spend long on the seawall. I meant like just sit there for 30 minutes maybe.
And please, people, I'm sorry to cut you. If you're going to the seawalls or you're going to anywhere where you feel fair enough you want to get things out just to relax, please ensure it's a very safe area. Yes. Because
when I went to seawall, I went every minute I just saw.
Because your life is just as important as your health.
You could go for runs too. Some people go for runs.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying what I do. I what was it? Disconnect from the world. I try to understand why it is that I'm upset and how I can how I can do better, how I can just act differently should this situation ever come up again. What's the best action to take whenever this situation comes up? Is it a me problem? Is it a them problem? I just sit down and think about why is it that I'm upset. What's causing this? Practice self-love. Lately, I think I spoke about it in a previous podcast. Just practice loving yourself, and that means telling yourself that I love you.
I love you.
Tell yourself, be real, hey, I love you. Hey, I love you, Kenneth. I love you. Well, don't say I love you, Kenneth, but hi. You can say I love you, Kenneth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we accept personal.
Practice self-acceptance. Be aware of why you're feeling a way. Be conscious. Be in the moment. Be conscious of the fact that be conscious of how you're feeling and why you're feeling it. That's a pillar of self-esteem, consciousness. And I think that's all I have to talk about. Practice self-awareness. Be conscious of your feelings and emotions. So those are the things that I would do if I'm upset or mildly, or if I'm not in the best mental state.
So, alright, great. So we've come to the end today. So today, what we're going to do today, this was, I think who it was. I think this was Tiffany. Tiffany gave me the idea that at the end, instead of sticking to one thing, we'll play around with a bunch of finishers, basically. So so the last one we did was how Christian. So today, we're black men. So today is how black are you this week? I can start. I think like 2 times for this week I had to control how black I was. Forget it.
Well, for me, the blackest thing I ever did for this week is braid my hair and admire my blackness. Indeed, I used to be like, "Boy, can you sexy? As a black man, you sexy." I think I do that most often. I know it's the hair texture and the way that how you could braid the hair and it could be neat and it don't look out of place after 2-3 days. Don't look. I just admire. I guess this is the blackest thing I do for the week. Just admire my skin color, admire black people as a whole. It's about there's lift them black people up. Mentally, I didn't actually say it, but at least except for myself, just
Now come. Okay, so I was at an event, a very small event. So there were persons of other races there, mostly Portuguese. So some friends and I were talking, and then sometimes as black people, we're very aggressive or very assertive naturally.
Aggressive, you can be aggressive.
Right? So we're all talking, and then it clicked. Oh shucks, we're not here alone. There are other persons, and it's not people that we're friends with, right? And for me, I'm always up for opportunities to meet and to interact people and to network. So I've always got to be conscious of that. So something, and we start talking about Dunstug and don't say fart. Huh?
Who you like?
Me and my friends, right? So, and then the people's like, what? Dunstug and yeah, then yeah. So people like, you see them, it's like, Dunstug, what they talking about? And then it switched to weed and all the, and like, the best I could have come up with was something like that. I was like, oh no, marijuana is definitely not something I would consume. Which I don't smoke. So the rain has come down, so that'll affect our audio a bit. So we're closing off. Thank you once again. So please just like, subscribe,
comment.
Yes.
I love to see comments. Please,
yes,
guys, comment. I love to hear your
and also
opinions.
click the notification bell
to be notified when we post another video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you learned something. I hope it was practical advice that we were giving, even though it was unsolicited. But yeah, watch the video, so when you are looking for something.
Exactly. Once again, I just like to shout out KNF Investment Solution, Unbelievably Made Cake, KD's online shipping.
Yeah, we'll link those sites.
Yeah.
I know
KNF Investment Solution. Basically, we'll link a number. They don't have well, they have an email address and so on. So I'll link all of that, and also Crave Catering. So yeah, so just go out and support. We'll put the links in below. Comment, subscribe, notification bell, and all. Thank you for the love that you've shown us. Viewing is great.
Yeah.
But please just comment and like.
Let
us know. Let us know.
And share it.
So we'll know.
Let
the world know what these two black brothers get to offer, and how we can make this little thing grow.
Yeah.
And be better. Because for the time that we're here, we really like to put our best foot forward.
Yeah. And trust me, I am so excited for what y'all about to experience. It ain't even funny, bro.
Exactly.
I'm so excited. Honestly, because I have so many ideas for this podcast and to see it grow. I was speaking with my girlfriend yesterday, and an idea came to mind. I won't share it here. We'll talk about it off camera. But anyway, thank you guys again. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you learned something. And
yeah, so enjoy our next very long video, but informative. You'll be seeing clips. We're remedying things.
Yeah.
Alright, but once again, thank you.